Hello, welcome to Handmade by Julia Quinn and my Thursday afternoon Facebook Live. Today I am watercolouring with you with this amazing stamp set that is new in our annual catalogue this year. It is the penciled pear stamp set and it is absolutely perfect for watercolouring. So perfect for watercolouring. It actually was built for it, really, the way it is. Now, the inspiration for this card here, which I'm going to go through with you today, came from this card here. I wonder if you can see where the inspiration comes from. So I was teaching last month in July, I can't believe it's August already, teaching a class on watercolour techniques. And we used the soft pastels, we used the watercolour pencils and blender pens, and we also did using ink and our watercolour paper and a water painter. Okay, so that's the inspiration for my card. I've got basically, I should have shown you the elements actually, basically the same sort of elements. Where are we? We're back here. As the card in the catalogue. So I've got my main point, which I have changed up to a excuse me, a tag from the Greetings of the Season tags in our new online exclusive collection. I've got the same greeting, but I was too lazy to do the white embossing, so I've just used a watercolour background to enhance the greeting. And in the background they've done with the same as I have done and created your own background using a brush and ink, and then yeah, so that's where my inspiration came from for this card. Okay, let's get this together. So I had two little kits left over from my class, and I'm going to make up both of them, not with you, but I will be making up both of them, or I could post one out to somebody. Okay, so there's my piece that is going to create my background for my image. That's just a little bit smaller than the actual card base there, just a tiny bit of a border. And then I have used for my main feature watercolor paper. Now, watercolor paper is pure cotton, has a textured surface, but it is fantastic when you're using lots of water. It's far more forgiving than our ordinary cardstock and doesn't pill when you add too much water. And that's for the greeting and for the main feature. And then there's my piece for inside my card. So let's get stamping, shall we? This amazing pear. Isn't it beautiful? Now, I've just got to get a couple of blocks over here. I've got this one for my pear. One block for, now what have I got on this card? I've got thanks for being you. I might do it's your, or actually just a little note for my card today. Just a little note. And then this image for inside my card. Now, as I said, I'm using watercolor paper for my main image. And I am using as well for watercolouring StazOn. I'd recommend StazOn. It is a solvent-based ink, really good for watercolouring, and it remains waterproof. And my favourite is the saddle brown because it's not as stark as black, I suppose. Okay, here we go. I'll just stamp my inside piece here. There we go. So that's done for the inside of my card. Now you can clean where your StazOn ink with your normal cleaning system using the chamois or the scrub. But if you're worried about the stain on the stamp, and StazOn does stamp, this is a great supply tool, is the StazOn cleaner. And you just rub it on top. And then you can either use scrap or I just use my cleaner and just clean it off there. And then there is no more ink left there. And the stain actually doesn't detract from your actual stamp at all. But if you are worried, especially with the photopolymer stamps, you can really see the stain then. Okay. Now for my pear, I'm going to give it a lot of good inking up, and because of the texture of the watercolour paper, give it a bit of pressure. When you're stamping, give it a bit of time for the ink to absorb. There we are. And then I've got my greeting, just a little note here. Pop that over the left hand side so I can tear that edge. Okay, so that's all my preparation. Now it's up to doing the fun part, the water painting. I'm using a water painter, so it's basically a reservoir of water and just a tip at the top. I do like to have a rag next to me or a bit of paper or something like that, so that in between using my inks I can just squeeze my paintbrush and swish it till it goes clear. And I'm going to get another block as well. You can use any non-porous surface you have. Our stamping blocks work really, really well. So the colours that I've used, and also the colours that have been used in the catalogue, are Flirty Flamingo. So I'm just going to open up my Flirty Flamingo and put a bit of, tap it onto my block there, and Daffodil Delight. Can you see that? A bit of ink on that non-porous surface, and Granny Apple Green. Okay, they're the three colours for my pear. And then there's the fun bit. So I'm squeezing my brush, adding water, swishing it around and diluting it. So the darkest colour ink will be here where I haven't diluted it with any water. The lightest colours will be over here where I've done some swishing around. And then using the amazing detail in the image that has been done by the artist when they've produced it, I'm going to add my darkest colour here where most of the colour is on the image. Okay, and the lightest colours over here. I am going to, and never be afraid of leaving a white space, so I'm going to avoid putting any ink there. Okay, add some more colour over here. And now for my leaf, the same treatment. Darkest where the most cross-hatching is, lightest in the other parts of the leaf. There we go. Okay, that's looking pretty fine. Now I just squeeze my brush, swish it off on my scrap. My scrap is actually an old napkin, table napkin. I love using napkins and we use them all the time, but when they get a bit old and decrepit, they don't look as nice on the table. So I'm using it as my artist cloth. It has lots of colours on it. Okay, now, as I was saying, this watercolour paper makes blending colours really, really well, really easy. So I'm colouring over the top of my green that I did before, adding my Daffodil Delight, and it's blending those colours together quite nicely. Okay, and I'm going to add some yellow to my leaf too, of course, just because I can. And in nature, colours are not just solid colours like graphic. They have lots of variations of tone. And then on this side of my peach, I'm going to add that Flirty Flamingo very lightly, but by putting it over the top of the Daffodil Delight, it creates a sort of, did I say peach? I meant to say pear, a peachy peary colour. Okay, now I'm going to do a bit more green, I think, just to blend those colours in a bit more, make it a bit more pearish. Oh, a bit more Flirty Flamingo for my leaf. And then when you put your Flirty Flamingo with the green, if you know colour theory, it'll make black. Not black, brown. There we go. Is that good enough? What do you think? I'll just show that to you nice and close. So there's the Granny Apple Green, Daffodil Delight around this section, and the Flirty Flamingo just on the very edge. And then all of the colours in the leaf, actually. All right, while I've got my colours there, I'm just going to add a bit of colour to my greeting. I might add, in my class, some beautifully artistic person actually did put a couple of colours together and I really liked it. So I'm going to copy that person and do that on mine. And I'm leaving little bits of white pieces as well. Now the next piece I need to do on my pear is the background, and I'm using Pool Party for that. Now this is another way you can use your inks to do watercolouring. I'm going to add some of my re-inker. Whoops. Here it is, into the lid of my ink pad. Okay, that's the Pool Party, just a little bit like that. And once again, squeezing my brush, swish it around. There's lots of green undertones in that Pool Party, isn't there? Okay, unless I didn't clean my brush properly. And then I'm just adding the very softest wash all around my pear here. There we go. I'm trying not to touch those other pieces of painting I've already done because they are a little bit wet. I don't want to blend those colours. This is just creating a little bit of a background for my pear. There we go. Okay, so that's my little background piece. I can't help thinking, looking at that, I must have used Coastal Cabana rather than Pool Party before. There we go. And then the last thing is to create my background piece. So just freehand, I'm just going to swish across without any sort of neatness or anything. Just inking up my brush and trying to be sort of evenish. And then creating a tartan is actually quite easy, especially when you want to do it not even. Like if you were wanted to be really even, you could use your grid paper behind you to line it up, or a ruler, but this is so much more fun and artistic. Let's say it's artistic. There we go. I think that'll do me. So just close that up. Once again, squeeze my brush, rub it off on my cloth, and I think I'm done there. It's time to put this lovely card together again. Move you out of the way, put you here, you here, you here. Okay, the first thing I'll do is adhere I could colour my pears for the inside of my card, perhaps. I've got little bits of colour left on my block over here, my paint palette. So get a little bit of Granny Apple Green. Now, as I said before, your normal cardstock doesn't absorb as much water as your watercolour paper is, because I could go back over that and add more water and do more painting and more tonal work and it will be fine. But I have to be careful I don't add too much ink and water to this one. I'm doing the Daffodil Delight on the light sides and Granny Apple on the dark sides, and a little bit of Flirty Flamingo. Whoop. That's a nice pink pear. Yum, I love pears. There we go. Just the nature of that image, the beautiful imagery that's been done by the artist, means that you can be really quite relaxed when you're colouring with it. It just all looks amazing because of the lovely sketch quality of the image. Thank you everyone who has come to visit me today while I'm doing my video. I really appreciate you joining me and leaving comments. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to read comments, so I will reply to all of your comments as soon as I'm finished. But hello. Rightio. Now, I wanted to be really artistic the last time I made this card, and I roughed up the edges and created a vintage look. But this time I'm going to be less wild and free and just stick it down straight like that. Okay. And then add my tag using some dimensionals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Peel off the backs of them. Okay. Add you onto my card front. And then tear the edge of my greeting. Cool. Put dimensionals on one side and then seal on the other, because it's going to be half stuck onto my main image and half stuck off the edge. There we go. Covered up that pretty pear, didn't I? Okay, now my bow is going to be not actually tied through the top of the tag, but stuck on magically using a mini glue dot, because that's just so much easier. Okay, I have doubled over my linen thread there just to make it a more robust and pretty bow. And grab my mini glue dots. There we go. Stick that in there. And because sometimes my fingers get in the way, I'm going to use my take your pick tool to take that off there. There we go. And there's my cut. Oh, hang on, some embellishments. What have I got here? I'm using rainbow dots. Now, I think I might use the lemon lolly this time. Go for a different colour. 1, 2. I've run out of lemon lolly on that sheet. Use up all my leftover bits and pieces. Hang on. Ah, here's one. More lemon lolly there. Another lemon lolly one here. Another couple actually. One. Good grief. They're escaping. I don't know where that one went. Something for me to do later on when I've got nothing else to do. Look for my lemon lolly embellishment. There you go. Definitely 2 different colorways with the Pill Party. Obviously that was Coastal Cabana and I didn't read it right when I was reading my own instructions. But nevertheless, I still think it looks quite pretty. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you have a go at watercolouring. I just love, love, love watercolouring, and I would recommend watercolour paper, a water painter, and StazOn inks. They make your job so much easier and really help you create that artistic finish. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Bye!